Hi everybody, it's Tom from Vehicle Visionary. I hope you're having a great day. This is the 2024 Honda Pilot EXL that I borrowed from my friends here at Holmes Honda today. And we're going to give you the information to try to answer the question, do the features match the price? There's definitely a lot going on here as far as the EXL trim level goes. We start with an exterior color of obsidian blue. We'll have a gray interior. So for those of you who are saying, you know, there's so many Hondas out there that have a black interior, give me something different. Here you go. And you have a roomy first and second row, a lot of cargo capacity. The ride quality is good. These models are available in front-wheel drive as this one is, or all-wheel drive, and you'll find standard all-wheel drive on the Elite and Trail Sport trim levels. And in case you were wondering what's new for 2024, well, since we saw a full redesign for 2023, there are no major changes for the 2024 model year with the Pilot. That's not necessarily a bad thing because you still have a lot of great features, a lot of great functionality, easy to use but plentiful technology. And we'll start here on the front end with the LED daytime running lights. You'll also have the LED fog lights down there. The active air curtains here on the front end. Obviously, it's going to be on both sides, allowing air to flow through. You're going to reduce drag and improve aerodynamics that way. We get a little bit better gas mileage that way. Maybe I'll get some better non-tongue twisting mileage if I keep talking without tongue twisting again. You do have Honda sensing here, which is nothing new, but it's good to know what your driving aids are. That's going to be adaptive cruise control, road departure mitigation braking, lane keeping assist, traffic jam assist. It's all here. And what about tire and wheel size? I told you that this model is front wheel drive compared to the optional all-wheel drive. At least on the EXL trim level, we're looking at 255 on the width, a 60 series sidewall, and the rim size is 18 inches. And yes, this model does come with a spare tire. No tire repair kits here. That's good. And your remote. No changes for 2024, but maybe you haven't looked at a Pilot for the last couple of years, so this might be news to you to see the changes. It just looks different. The functionality is the same. It does have remote start, and that brings us to the power adjustable, heated, manually folding side view mirrors. The body colored mirror caps, the turn signal indicators are built in. By the way, that remote is a proximity key. You have the walk away feature. I know a lot of you like to know about that, so I like to make sure that I cover that. And we'll finish things off here with the body colored shark fin antenna and a combination on the rear roof spoiler here with the body color and a little bit of gloss or matte black, I should say, here on this portion as well. You're gonna have your rear window wiper right there. A fairly clean look on the rear of the Pilot as far as just the overall design goes. Now you can tow up to 5,000 pounds. It's 3,500 pounds towing in this particular case because it's front wheel drive, but if you go with all wheel drive, you're going to jump that number up to 5,000 pounds. What exactly motivates this model to get down the road? Let's open the hood and find out. And while the displacement is the same as it was with the previous generation of the Pilot, it's a 3.5 liter V6. This is not the VTEC, this is the overhead cam version. It does have a 5 horsepower increase from 280 to 285. The torque numbers remain the same at 262 foot-pounds. And something that I thought was very interesting, it's always interesting to see what some of the comments are on YouTube, people assuming or just trying to stir things up, who knows. But somebody told me that for 2024, that Honda would do away with the 10-speed automatic transmission that is now in these Pilots as of 2023. Incorrect. It's still a 10-speed automatic. Now, let's take a look at the MPGs. 19 city, 27 highway, 22 combined, and you should be using 4.5 gallons of gas per every 100 miles driven. And if you're curious to know, you have an 18.5 gallon gas tank. And the good news here is that for those of you who watched me open that, when you lock the interior, it also locks the gas door, as you can see right there. I'll hit the unlock button again, and now that's open again. just in case you were wondering, just a little peace of mind. And if you're wondering about base price for 2024, the base trim level, the LX for the Pilot, starts at $37,090. The base price for the EXL, as we're looking at today, is $42,400. And as I mentioned earlier, there is your spare tire. In case you are curious about where that is located, you do have a power lift gate right here, and we're looking at 18.6 cubic feet up to 86.5, up to 87 cubic feet. And you do have the reversible floor right here. You have the plastic side or the carpeted side. You have plenty of space in there. There is the carpeted side. And because so many of you ask for this, here is how everything looks with all of the seats lowered and cargo space maximized. I know a lot of you say, show us what it looks like with everything folded down and out of the way. So this way you have a good idea of what it looks like as far as this Honda Pilot goes. And for those who say, well, hey, Tom, what does it look like with all of the seats in their upright position? I didn't forget about you. I promise. I heard you. This is what it looks like. And one of the other interesting comments I've received over the course of time on these Pilots has to do with how you get in the back seat. I had somebody actually ask me if you could move the passenger side or the right side seat out of the way the same way you can with the left over there on the driver's side, because nobody ever shows that in their videos. Well, here's the answer to that question. Obviously with the button right here, well, of course you can do that. And the seat easily gets up and out of the way. Now, before we hop into the back seat, let's talk a little bit about the door panel right here. You're going to have the shade to put in place, the privacy shade, one on each side. Obviously, everything matches on both sides, the upper and the lower door bins. Quite a bit of space here as far as storage options, drink holders, all that stuff. Nice, comfortable armrest. Now, one thing I do want to show before we hop into the third row is the fact that you can increase leg space for your rear seat passengers, at least your middle row passengers can. I realize the seat over there on the left-hand side is probably not going to be that far up, but I just wanted to show you what the potentials are where that is concerned. So let's go ahead and hop on into this area. And yes, there is a pass-through right there. The kids will probably jump through there. I don't know about the adults, but you never know. It could go both ways. Now, here on the passenger side, yeah, it's a little tight. It's not too bad, especially with the pass-through right here. I can kind of stretch out just a little bit. That way, well, no big deal. Now, you do have seating for 3 people back here. How do you know that? Because you have 1, 2, 3 seat belts. So, in case anybody says anything, the correction Nazis down in the comment section, well, I just showed you. So, you can't say it's not room for 3 people back here. So, you actually have quite a bit of seating here, a lot of space. Like I said, USB connectivity as well for rear seat passengers. There is the air conditioning vent for rear seat passengers and the cup holders as well, or drink holders, whichever you wish to call that. And if the middle row passengers just get in a rush and jump out and forget to let anybody out of the back seat who may be sitting back here, well, you have that button right there. And again, the seat just moves right up and out of the way. And the rear seat pockets have a couple of different options. Not only the large pocket right here, but also one here, perfect for the cell phone. Adjustable climate control back here. Here is the nerve or command center for all of that. And a couple more USB options as well for the middle row passengers. And if you're curious, no, this particular model does not have the optional sunroof, but when you do go with the sunroof, it's going to be panoramic as opposed to the conventional size. And I wanted to come back to the lift gate back here. For those of you who might say, can you change the height? Depending on your situation, personal preferences, whatever the case is, yes, you can. All you have to do is pull it down to where you want it. You'll notice right here, it's kind of hard to see on the screen most likely, but it says hold to set height. So you're going to hold the button down until you hear all the beeps. So, all right, after those last 2 beeps right there, that's when you know that the height has been set to where you reset it. And just to show you that that does indeed work, I'm going to give you the chance to see this. Here is the proof. See, it stopped right there. And obviously, there are a multitude of different places where you can set that depending on your personal preference and or situation. And we continue the theme that goes throughout the interior of this 2024 Pilot of a lot of different storage spaces all throughout the front and rear seats, the middle row seats, everywhere. You've got the upper and the lower door bins here on the passenger side door. You also have the nice comfortable armrest. You also have the power seats here on the EXL trim level for the driver and the passenger. And then we're going to have even more space right here. The cell phones can go up there. If you're kind of an old timer, you might even put a book up there that you're reading when you're riding in the passenger seat. Well, I guess you could be reading on your phone too. Who knows? But there's options. And then right here, we're going to have plenty of space within the center, within the center console, within the glove box. And this is the wheel lock key. There are wheel locks installed on this model by Holmes Honda. That's the wheel lock key right there. And all you do is just slide that over the wheel lock. That is the one that's different than all the other lug nuts. Pretty simple to figure out. And then we're going to have more connectivity here. 2 USB options, a 12-volt power outlet, a little bit of space right here. I don't think anybody's phone is going to fit there in this day and age, unless you have a really old phone. And then we're going to have the wireless charging pad. And the one thing that many people either love or hate, there's no middle ground on the push button shifter, but there it is. And then we're going to have our drive mode selector here, hill start assist. You can turn off the auto stop start feature or idle stop right there. That is always a good idea. And then you have the power parking brake and brake hold mode. Now, one thing that I know a lot of people ask about is the height of the center console. Depending on your height, you can adjust the seat to compensate for that. No big deal. It's nice and wide, plenty of room. And then you'll see also plenty of room within as well. So a lot going on where that's concerned. But most likely, if you're watching this video, this is where you're going to spend most of your time in this Pilot. Let's hop into the driver's seat and see what you're going to find. And obviously, you're going to find a little bit more in the way of accessories here on the driver's side door. Everything for controlling the windows and controlling those power adjustable heated side view mirrors. You will also find 2 settings for seat memory, only on the driver's side. And even though this isn't the highest end vehicle you're going to find anywhere, at the price point where this model falls, I really think you should have seat memory on the passenger side as well. Just my personal preference. You can open and close the power tailgate right here, or lift gate I should say, and turn off traction control. Hey, you might want to do a front wheel drive burnout with your Pilot. You never know. So turn traction control off right there if you would like to try that. And make a video and send it to me. That would be fun to watch. You can adjust the positioning of the steering wheel by dropping that lever. It's tilt and telescopically adjustable. And when you hop in, you get to hear the music that greets you every time you hop into your Pilot. So we're going to hop in and take a look at the nice digital instrument cluster that we have here. There's a lot going on here. The changes made for 2023 that carry over here into 2024 really set the Pilot onto a new level in a lot of ways. So what I'm going to do here is use the steering wheel mounted control, hit the home button right there, and I can get to a couple of different screens depending on what I want to see or know about the vehicle. I'm just scrolling with the scroll wheel right there, and if I want to select something, I'll just push down on that. I think you probably know how to use that. You're going to have the controls here for the headlights, taillights, and the fog lights right there. And yes, that's also the blinker or the turn signal lever. I just confused the mess out of a lot of you because you're saying, what is that? It's okay to laugh, don't worry. Some people get it, some people don't, right? I can't say anything funny or sarcastic about the lever right here because people are more likely to use their windshield wipers than they are their blinkers, at least down here in Northwest Louisiana. And you have paddle shifters here for working your way back and forth through that 10-speed automatic transmission depending on your driving mode. And speaking of driving modes, let's take a look at what they are. So you're going to have normal and show you the graphics that go with everything. Here's Econ mode. Snow mode. If you're going to have snow in the area where you live, I definitely recommend going with all-wheel drive. You also have tow mode. It has the trailer hitch right there and the ball on there as well. And then we work our way up to the top and we find sport mode. A lot going on where that's concerned. Several different driving modes for every situation or just whatever you want. And then we're going to have push button start right there. And this is the 9-inch screen. A very simple screen to use, even though it maybe looks complicated to some people who aren't used to this technology, but it's not difficult to use at all. You have Apple CarPlay and Android Auto compatibility. It is wireless. You also have vehicle settings right here, and it's so easy to be able to figure out what you need to do because of the nice graphics here. I think that's just added value, as simplistic as it may be from Honda. So that is a good thing. You'll also have your multi-view rear view camera. So you have 3 different views right there, depending on what you need to see. Well, that's pretty easy to figure out. And we also have dual zone climate control here for the front seating area. We have 3 zones of climate, so 2 in the front, 1 in the rear, obviously, and you can control what's going on with the rear settings from here if you want to. You can lock your rear seat passengers and middle row passengers out from being able to even adjust it. So if you wanted to freeze them out or whatever you wanted to do, have some fun with them, play some pranks. Not that you heard that from me. Well, that's one way you could do that. Or just keep the kids from messing with it. Probably a little bit more realistic. And you do have heated seats here, heated only in this particular case. But you can see what all is here. The one thing we have left to do now is the test drive. Let's hop out on the road and see what it's like to drive this 2024 Pilot EXL. And a little treat for those of you who stuck around to this point in the video. Here is what the interior looks like after dark. Just to give you a little bit of an idea of how things look. And I'll also give you a look at the headlights here in just a second. There's the shifter and everything down there, your drive mode selector and all that good stuff. And there's what the headlights look like. There's what your high beams look like, and obviously there are your low beams. And one more thing real fast here, since we're able to do this, let me show you a little bit of an idea. I'll give you a little bit of an idea of what things look like from the outside at night. So we won't give you a direct view right into your eyes with those lights so we don't blind anybody, because they are awfully bright even with the low beam setting. But here's what everything looks like from the rear. Just a little something of added value to give you with the video, because this isn't something you see with every single one of these videos on YouTube. All right, we're out on the road for the test drive. And one thing I did want to mention, you likely saw it earlier, but I talked about everything to do with the side view mirrors, with one exception. You do have blind spot monitoring. So for those of you who are wondering, now you know the answer to that question. And when it comes to the changes, as far as what's under the hood for 2024, 2023, and 2024, that new double overhead cam V6, the 3.5 liter, what's the difference? It seems to operate more smoothly than the VTEC did. And not to put the VTEC down necessarily, it's just a situation where I noticed that the acceleration is smoother. It seems to be more responsive. That may be partially due also to the transmission change, but I think it's more to do with this engine that's under the hood now. I didn't really have to push the pedal that hard to get up to speed, and I just came off of a road where the speed limit was 65 miles per hour, and getting up to that was no problem. I didn't have to push real hard. The engine RPMs were not as high as they were with the previous generation of the Pilot, so just a couple of things I noted. You still have a comfortable ride quality here, which is nothing new for the Pilot, at least in my personal opinion. Some of that is going to be based on what you're used to. So if you step out of a vehicle such as a Cadillac or something that just has a very cushy ride, you might say, well, it's not as smooth as what you make it sound like it is. But then again, you might be somebody who steps out of something with a rigid ride and say, wow, it's even smoother than I expected based on what you said. So that's one reason why I think the one area on these car review videos or vehicle review videos that is probably the least useful is the test drive, because you really need to get in these vehicles and drive them for yourselves. But I'll still pass along the information as best as I can based on my personal experience. So with the roomy interior and comfortable seating, a comfortable ride quality, comfortable steering wheel, everything here is very good. Good things to say. And for those who are maybe saying, what about the technology? It looks new, it looks different. While it has a different look and appearance to it, to a great degree, at least from what we saw with the previous generation, it's still just as easy to use. It's the same basic system for the most part. There's a few things that have changed, obviously, with wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto compatibility, but overall, that's one thing I can always say about Honda, is their technology is very easy to learn if you've never had this kind of technology before, and to use. So you really can't go wrong where that's concerned. And obviously, depending on the trim level that you buy, on the Trail Sport, you will find more cameras. There's other, the Elite, I believe, also has those additional camera views. You'll also have the Trail Cam with the Trail Sport. So I do have videos on that. I will try and remember to link a Trail Sport down in the comments section. It'll be the pinned comment at the very top of that area if you're interested in watching that. There won't be any differences between the 23 and 24 models. This is the first 24 I've had a chance to show you. But overall, a very enjoyable vehicle to drive. Pretty easy to see out of, but like I said earlier, you have blind spot monitoring that makes that situation really perfect, because it doesn't matter, as long as you're paying attention to that indicator in the side view mirrors, you're going to be in good shape. So tell me what you think. Do the features match the price on this 2024 Honda Pilot EXL? Tell me what your answer is, and tell me why you answered the way that you did. I have to say a special thanks to my friends here at Holmes Honda for loaning me this 2024 Pilot EXL for the day, and a special thanks to each and every one of you for being kind enough to take the time to watch and give me the opportunity to give you a vision for your next vehicle. If you enjoyed this video and haven't subscribed to the Vehicle Visionary YouTube channel just yet, please consider doing so. And if you would like to learn about other vehicles you may wish to consider purchasing, check out the video that's on the screen right now, and I will see you there.